Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Glenda and Miss Sandy, the TA, our reading book club series. And today I'm going to talk about two books. One is a non-fiction book and one will be a classic. Please like and subscribe to Dr. Glenda's book review channel. Make sure you stay to the very end of the video because that's where you get to see what other people are enjoying reading. So now let's talk about our first book. The first book is a non-fiction book. And I want to make sure I get this title right. So I'm going to go to my notes. So this book is called Pure Invention: How Japan's Pop Culture Conquered the World. And it's by Matt Elt. Now, if you are interested in manga, if you're interested in anime, if you grew up loving Hello Kitty, if you use karaoke machines, then this book will be of interest to you. Why? Because Matt Elt has researched how all of these developed after the economic destruction of World War II in Japan, where their economy was completely destroyed, where culturally speaking, they had to really bring together the pieces. It shows how the cultural juggernaut that is Japan really basically, in a kind of soft imperialism, conquered the world. Matt Elt has really done his research. He has gone to talk to people, the inventors, for example, of the karaoke machine. I think the first karaoke machine was called the Sparko. And he talks to him. And we look at how it was developed. And then he even tells a story about how it links to corporate culture and how then that very segregated society that was Japan after the war, and even up to now, we could say in many ways, how karaoke was very much a male domain. He goes and looks at the development of anime, at the development of manga. There's a big section on Hello Kitty and the whole kawaii culture. He also looks at the very first Nintendos. Those of you who play Nintendo now, the newer versions, and those baby boomers, the ones who had the first Nintendos, or perhaps Generation X, he looks at Super Mario and how the people spent so much time, the graphic artists, etc., in developing that character. It's a really interesting read, and it's a very culturally important read because it puts things in its context. Because as we know, so many things around us, even the emojis we use every day on the phone, are based on Japanese pop culture. So I'd highly recommend this book, Pure Invention: How Japan's Pop Culture Conquered the World. I'd highly recommend that as a good holiday read. Now, the next book is a classic. And when I say a classic, it was written in 1868. Now, before you say, that's not for me, that's old and that's boring, it still has a freshness. And what's the title of that book? It's called Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is one of the very, very first novels that was written specifically for young women. Before that, most books were either written for adults or perhaps for children or for boys, but certainly not for young women. So Little Women was the first foray into that kind of genre. And while we're speaking of genre, I want to teach you a literary term. This book is what they call, in literary theory, a Bildungsroman. This is a German word we use in English, which means a coming-of-age novel. Coming-of-age novel, a little bit like To Kill a Mockingbird, was in my last review that I did. Now, Little Women focuses on 4 sisters growing up during the Civil War in the United States of America. Their father's away at the war, and the family is being barely held together by the mother, Mommy. They are living in difficult circumstances, in hardship, because the economy has been destroyed, and it's about their growing up as a family and as sisters during this time. And of course, those themes of rivalry between sisters, love between sisters, coming of age, going to find romance, getting married, going for a career, these are evergreen themes which are still fresh in 2020. There's 4 sisters, and you'll find someone to identify with in each of them. You've got the youngest, Amy, artistic, a little bit spoiled. You've got Beth, who's the sweet-tempered, sweet-natured one. Then you've got Jo, who I guess is sort of a proto-feminist. She's rebellious, she doesn't want to follow the path to marriage as is expected of her, and she wants to be a journalist. And then you've got Meg, who's considered the beauty of the family and who's kind of almost like a surrogate caretaker mother for the family when Mummy can't be there because she's doing her charity work. Now this book has been made into a motion picture many times over, from way back in the 40s and 50s with Elizabeth Taylor and June Ellison, to the 90s, to last year where it was made into a major motion picture yet again with great success, 19 Academy Award nominations, and starring Emma Watson. I would recommend that everybody read it because it still has a freshness and a resonance for our times. So that's my two picks. One non-fiction, which is the one about the Japanese pop culture, where you'll learn a lot about many of the trends that have swept the world culturally. And the second one is Little Women. And now we get to the point of the segment where we look at what you are reading out there. And the first book that I'd like to talk about, and the quote that's been sent in, is from Roses. And it's from good old Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss is a children's writer, but a lot of his messages really work for us as adults. And her quote is, "The more you read, the more you'll know. And the more you learn, the more places you'll go." So thank you, Roses, for that quote. Next quote is from Nettie. And Nettie sent in a very, very profound quote from Viktor Frankl, who survived concentration camps in World War II. In his book, The Search for Meaning, he wrote, "He who has a why to live for can bear with almost any how." And finally, Fella has sent in his favourite quote about reading, and it's from Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the most classic self-help books. And it says, "Actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, 'I like you, you make me happy, and I'm glad to see you.'" So thank you for those quotes about reading. So that's our segment where we have quotes from our viewers. Please send in the books you're reading, the things you're enjoying looking at, and special quotes that have meaning for you about reading. So Sandy, I think it's time to say bye for now, and happy reading and happy holidays, and see you next time.